Welcome back to another episode of Buster's Beat, the podcast hosted by me, Buster Pants, your favorite toxic local drag king. And today I have a very special guest with me, the very hilarious and delightful Viv Martin. Hey, Viv, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. I have a concussion, but
you can't even really tell.
Not yet.
Not yet. We'll see.
I'm gonna start forgetting shit.
We'll see how this episode goes. But
yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. You're like in a very small, special category of people who aren't a close personal friend of mine who agreed to come on the podcast, which is always a little bit more fun and a challenge of me because I'm like, now I actually have to figure out who you are and what you're about.
Yeah,
but before I do all that, why don't you introduce yourself to the watchers and listeners out there in the internet, who you are, how you like to identify and move through the world, both on and off stage.
All right. Where am I looking?
This one is you, and the center one is like our wide shot. You can look into mine, but it's not pointed at you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I'm Viv Martin, they, them. I'm a Boston comic. I've lived in Boston for about 3 years. I was in Indiana before that. I do stand-up. I produce shows with a group called Men in Comedy, which is all femme and non-binary.
Which I love.
Ha ha ha, yeah. There's a little bit of satire. I would say that's mostly how I want to identify.
Yeah.
That's me. Yeah.
Pronouns?
They, them.
Sweet.
Yeah. Rocking with the NB.
We love that.
Lifestyle. Yeah.
I always they, them, everyone till like told otherwise.
Dude,
I'm like, it's
I love
2025. Anyone who's not doing that is doing it wrong.
I love accidentally like misgendering someone as non-binary.
Yeah.
When they're like cis,
the amount of times I've been like, oh yeah, did you meet them? And it's just like, that's her. And I'm like, okay, but we're all technically they, thems, right?
Exactly.
I actually can't. Can you hear me coming through here anymore?
You disappeared for a second. Now you're back.
All right, maybe it's turning away from me. I'll get real close.
Okay.
Live theater. What are you gonna do? Did I fade out? Oh, okay. I know. I shout. I do too. That's fine. But I am coming through. I just wanted to make sure my mic didn't like turn itself off.
So if you want to just like back it up to talk about being non-binary.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we always do. Wait, are you a they them? I don't even know that.
Yeah. I they them. I he they as well.
They. Okay.
And
excellent.
Sometimes people she me, and I'm like, if that's what you're seeing, I guess. But I don't really feel strongly about it.
Yeah. Fair.
Usually it's like one of my drag friends will accidentally say her and like refer to me, and then the whole room goes like, did you just call Buster she? I'm like, hey man, I guess that's fine because it's so absurd. But
yeah, Buster and she together, I love that.
Yeah,
it's like, how did that happen?
Well, someone recently, like, I was told that I was brought up in conversation about drag because someone was like, well, is it even really drag if you're not wearing fake eyelashes? And somebody was like, Buster Pants. Buster Pants does not wear fake eyelashes. And they should not. Yeah. Well, it's someone who does drag. And I think if it's the person I think it was, it's someone who I respect. But it's like, you're so young.
Yeah.
You know, you haven't seen enough drag to make a sweeping gesture that like all drag should be whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I remember meeting you for the first time and watching you put on like a scar, and I was like, that's what drag can be. You can like put a scar on, put some dirt on.
Yeah, I always tell people my aesthetic is I want to look as though I've just like freshly rolled out of a car accident.
Nice. Like, oh my God, from Rocky Horror, that motorcycle guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Eddie.
Meatloaf. Inspiring. Yeah, very inspiring.
Yeah. So comedy. How long have you been doing comedy? What is like your origin story there?
I've been doing it, I think 2 years, maybe it'll be 3 in half a year or something.
Well, by the time this comes out.
No, so I started because I was actually dating a comic for a bit. I was going to lots and lots of shows. And the more I watched, the more I had those little joke ideas percolate. And I would be like, you should do this joke. You should do this. And then I was like, I should just do my own jokes. And so, I don't know, comedy's weird because there's no beginner level. As soon as you do it, you're doing it at the exact same level as everyone else. You know, you show up on stage, you have some time, and you just tell your jokes. And it's like an open mic. And so I just went to an open mic. I was so terrified.
Yeah.
But as soon as people started laughing, I was like, oh, this is addictive. I'm going to be doing this for a long time.
Where was it the first time you did it, like post moving to Boston, or did you start doing it in Indiana? You said
I'm from Indiana. It was post moving to Boston. I went to Jacques, actually. That was my first mic. Yeah. I can't remember. Someone recommended it. I think I looked at the like Boston comedy open mics list Excel sheet, and I was like, okay, gay club. Perfect.
Easy.
And it was great, and everyone was great. You know, it was awesome.
Yeah.
So they were very friendly.
Excellent. And now you have your own productions.
I do. Yes. Men in Comedy.
Yeah.
That was, how did that start?
I just love that it's specifically just called Men in Comedy, and you're like, and we don't hire men. I'm like, that's the greatest thing I've ever heard of.
My favorite thing is a lot of people take it, they don't get the satire, and they'll comment kind of like rage comments and be like, why men? You know, what's so special? And we just lean into it. I think we like that kind of pissing people off, but
I love that too.
Yeah.
But so Men in Comedy, is that like a monthly show, a quarterly show, a weekly show, or is it like a random pop-up?
It's monthly. We change the time and the date because we do novelty venues. So it depends when our venues are free, whatever. But yeah, we've done a show at a mattress store. That was great. We did a show on a boat. We did a show at a toy store. We did a hoedown show, which was at an American Legion, which was not our audience, but it was great. I mean, a bunch of queer show. We kind of like
everyone was safe.
Took over the American Legion. We were safe.
Okay,
it was great.
You never know with venues like that. I've been to like some weird punk shows at like a VFW, and I'm like, are we cool?
Yeah,
should we go?
There's a way in which it kind of circles back around.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, you're like, okay, we're all wearing cowboy boots and denim, maybe even an American flag, but in different ways.
Very different ways.
Yeah.
Well, it's my favorite is like, you know, opposites are the same at their extremes. You know,
I like that.
And my favorite example of that is like people who ally so hard that they become homophobic, or people who are so homophobic that they accidentally become an ally.
Oh, I've never heard of that, kid. Do you have a story for that?
Well, like a general example online is like someone who's like trans or non-binary who like is like, let's say a trans woman who's like, yeah, I'm a woman, and someone will comment on their page and like they're androgynous looking enough that they're like, you'll never be a man, because they think they're transitioning the other way.
That's so funny.
And they're just like, yeah, thank you, I won't be.
That's good.
Things like that where people like, I'm just trying so hard to be homophobic, or like, you know, calling someone an it, but it's like, oh, I actually use it pronouns, so joke's on you.
I'm actually a thing. I did have someone ally so hard that it was homophobic.
Yes,
actually.
those happen much more frequently, I think.
It was awesome. I shook hands with this guy after a show because I like did my set, whatever. And he was like, that was an awesome set. I want to shake your hand. Like, let me shake your hand. I was like, okay, sure. And we shake hands, and he's like, you shake hands like a lesbian. I was like,
what does that mean?
Firm. With an assured touch. I took it as like skillful
confident.
Fingers. Yes.
Yeah. Strong hands.
Strong,
dexterous.
Hands. Yes.
Shake hands like a lesbian.
I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
You got a lot of experience shaking lesbian hands.
Right? I'm like, maybe.
Well, there is for sure like a demographic of straight men who are like unintentionally like only attracted to lesbians, where they're just like, there's just something about you, and I'm like, I think you're gay.
Like, I think you're a misogynist.
I think you don't. Well, it's not even they won't even know that like a woman's a lesbian, but like, you ever see those chicks who just like kind of dress like a guy and have short? I'm just like into that, you know. And I'm like,
damn,
you gay.
I'm trying to tap into that right now. I actually, since I hit my head, I've been reconsidering dating men.
Be careful.
And maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll do it.
Hey, there's a demographic out there who are like, the lesbians.
I gotta find them.
I often joke that like people always assume I'm a lesbian, and I always have to come out as bisexual to the queer community to be like, I actually do fuck men. So I can confirm there are plenty of men out there, straight cis men, who like a gay lady.
Excellent.
That's my gay agenda, is I'm now making them gay.
Oh, I love that.
Because after long enough, I'm like, you know that if you're into me, you're gay, all right?
Okay, that's my stance. It's like, if you're fucking a non-binary person,
you're now gay.
It can't be straight. You
know?
No. It's impossible for it to be straight.
No, I'm not here to take away anyone's label, but like, if you're having sex with me, or even just attracted to me, whatever your gender is, you are gay, and I will die on that hill.
You're doing good work.
Thank you. That's what I try to do for the people. How do you, so going back to having comedy shows at like a mattress store or like a Toys R Us, is it because like you know people who work there, or like do you just email them to be like, hey, I have a speaker, can we come throw a show there?
Almost exactly that.
Really?
Yeah, we do a lot of cold emailing. We've discovered that the in-person visit is key to convincing them that we're real, you know?
I would assume it's spam.
I think the mattress store guy was just lonely, actually.
Oh, well, most mattress stores are for sure a scam.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, theirs was real but empty as hell.
Yeah. People are just buying them online.
Yeah, exactly. No, bring back, this is my platform now, bring back brick and mortar mattress stores.
Well, that's the thing. They're still there.
Yeah.
We don't have to bring them back. They're still there and they're still
Bring
in
yourself
business. And there's one
a
like
brick and mortar.
every 100 feet. You like go down a weird highway in a small town and you drive by like a firm mattress warehouse every half mile. And I'm like, what do you get? What's in these mattresses?
I feel like we're on opposite sides of this issue. I love them. I believe in them.
No, I want them to exist, but how do so many of them still exist?
Yeah, that's the real question.
That's my question. I want them to be there, but
They
I
just
think
sleep there.
something weird.
That's just their home as well.
Right?
But yeah, we visited this guy, and I think we were just like friendly people who wanted to liven up the mattress store for a weekend, and he was really into it, and he was awesome.
Were people able to like BYOB or?
No, because we worried about the mattress.
I was gonna say BYO
Yeah.
sheets.
We did give away a pillow. There was a kind of a pillow prize, random draw
for the
which
biggest princess.
oh fuck, we should have done that.
Well,
No.
you can use that for the next one.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Well, this time next year, yeah.
Perfect.
Another mattress store show.
I mean, there's plenty of them. You should just do a tour in only mattress stores.
stores. I
Yeah.
thought you meant pillow princesses.
Well, you
I was
should
like,
only do them
I
in
don't really
mattress
care about
stores.
that. I don't really care about those.
Hey, you know, it's a lot of work just laying there.
I suppose so. Psychologically, to be that selfish.
I can't imagine doing that. There's I don't know. I'm trying to think of the name of the place. I think it's called Felt Fanatic, and it's like a vintage sports jersey and hat store. I think. I don't know the people. I hope you're cool people for me just plugging you. I'm throwing my pen everywhere. I'm nervous. I
heard
know.
that fall to the floor.
We'll edit it out.
Okay. No, keep it.
Keep it in. I'm a flawed human, you know, that people need to see.
No, it's real. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's called Felt Fanatic, and they've started throwing like punk shows there.
Oh, nice.
So every so often, I'll like have a musician friend be like, "Have you heard of this spot? I think I'm doing a show in like a
oh my
t-shirt
God.
store, but it's
Dude.
somewhere in Salem, and I guess they have a bunch of shows there.
That's amazing.
So it might be a spot to look into."
Okay, Men in
Yeah.
Comedy, Felt Fanatic. I feel like Felt Fanatic is already a punk band name. You know?
Yeah,
That is
I'm like,
very
this
punk
guy's
band
got to
name.
be cool. Where he's
No,
just
for
like, I have this shirt store. Do you guys want to like throw down in here on the weekends? Like, I guess, yeah.
So you've been now? Have you?
I
been?
haven't been
Oh,
yet.
okay.
Because it's always, that's the problem when you like work in, I don't know if you run into this problem, when you work in entertainment, it's really hard to go out.
Oh, for sure.
I'm like,
yeah.
if you're not paying me to go out and I have the night off, I'm staying in.
a night in now, luxurious.
So luxurious.
I realized.
Go to bed at like
Huh?
9.
Yes.
No.
Yes. No,
Maybe
it's amazing.
sometimes. I'll get into bed at 9 with like my book.
Tell me about your nighttime routine. I want to hear about this.
You want to hear about my nighttime? Okay, but then you have
Yeah.
to tell me about yours
Okay, I'll
because
tell you
this is
about
about
mine
you.
now. Okay,
Okay.
that's fine,
I honestly don't have. If I'm not doing a show, my nighttime routine is at some point I will make some amount of food.
Okay.
And I'm a good cook, but like I can't be bothered. I live alone,
Yeah.
you know? So maybe once a week I'll do a cooking project.
Sure.
Otherwise, like I wanna smoke my Penrique Iglesias, you know?
Enrique Iglesias.
Penrique.
Wow.
Well, it's somebody the other day was referring to my vape pen and said like Pennifer Aniston, and I was like, that's good. We can do better.
Yeah.
I came up with Penrique.
Penrique is great.
Yeah, I like cartoons in bed to like unwind the mind. So obviously Bob's Burgers. I'm very famously known for that being my hyperfixation.
Okay.
Recently, I've been watching Sex and the City again.
Oh my
I don't know where you
God.
stand on Sex and the City.
I've seen a few episodes.
It's so
That's-
bad, but I love it.
I thought it was fun. I thought there was something very glamorous about the aesthetic. You know. It's
Well,
like,
that's what they have going
yeah,
for it, but it
yeah.
is such a bad, good capsule of that time period because it's like the very late 90s, very early 2000s, and it's for gorgeous, successful, smart women who are like, I just need to get married. And you're just like, what? So to watch it now is like, I'm older than they were in season 1, and they're all running around being like, I'll never have a baby. I'll never find the love of my life. And like, man, that generation had it kind of hard on that front. Like the expectation of like, it was the first generation of women to be like, maybe we don't have to get married, but still being societally like forced into it, even by TV.
Yeah, yeah. Although I feel like it feels so campy now watching it.
Oh,
you know?
yeah,
I'm
you
like,
can
there's
step
a
away from it.
satire
Oh, yeah.
Element.
But at the time, that was like people's Bible, and they didn't realize how campy it was supposed to be, you know? And then you go back, or do you ever watch the old The L Word from like the early 2000s?
No, I need to. Okay,
Same thing though, where you're like, okay, they are lesbians, and like, so it's, you know, a little more coded towards me, but they're still all super rich, super skinny and beautiful, like very trans and biphobic. Like it's still a problem because it's the early 2000s, but it is fun to be like, it was very glamorous and lots of, you know, muff diving on that show.
Love that.
Yeah.
You know, something that pisses me off is when it's like lesbian, but it's not queer. So it'll be like one mask plus one femme.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
the
I
kind
think
of
in this show, it's mostly all femmes. And
Femme
then
plus
like
femme,
the
okay.
one sort of mask character is just like very skinny and androgynous and an absolute fuckboy.
Oh. And that's my brand.
Well, and that's anytime I meet people who are like, oh my God, I love Shane. And I'm like, I got to get out of here.
Shane. Oh
Shane is the character.
No, that's a recipe for disaster.
It
Your name
really,
is
when someone's like,
Shane.
I love them. And I'm like, Shane needs better writers.
No.
And that's one of my favorite characters, because not because I'm attracted to them, because I feel too strongly that I am them. Because they write them to be polyamorous.
Right.
But like don't acknowledge it, where it's just sort of like, they just don't like to be tied down. They don't like to be committed. And they're like, no, I fall in love with people and I like having these relationships. I just don't like to be exclusive. But I'm not polyamorous. That's something that like psychotic people in thruples do. And I'm like,
Oh my God.
but that's, if you were just in an open relationship, your life would be a lot easier, I think.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah.
Do you ever read Sally Rooney?
No.
Okay. Now I feel like you were taking us to a fun pop culture place. I'm taking us to a
I need
novels place.
Yeah, no, I need more books in my life. I read too many comic books, to be honest.
I don't know if I recommend it, but I was thinking of this novel, her most recent novel, Intermezzo. One of the characters is in love with two women, and on one page, it's a whole page reflection where he's like, polyamorous people are just psychotic. Like, what are my options while still appearing normal to figure out what to do about my love for these two women? And I'm like,
pretty much all
okay.
romance novels, I think, could be solved with, you know, if you just had an open relationship,
Yes.
this would be a lot easier instead of feeling obligated to get married after knowing someone for 3 months.
Yeah, for real. Oh my God, I read this like smutty lesbian novel. What was it called?
There's a lot of them.
Okay, it was about a mom who
God.
sleeps with her daughter's best friend.
Thank God.
College age. I'm saying that like it's a redeeming. It's
No,
still
but
kind
just
of
when you
fucked
said
up,
a mom and a daughter, and I was like, oh, his
No.
best friend. I'm like, oh, phew, okay. Not
you know,
incest
that's
lesbian
that's
porn.
what no, not that. But it still ends in a marriage, and I'm like, why did we have to end it? That it was supposed to be
Who
this
gets
like
married?
the mom and the daughter's best friend.
Ew.
Yeah. Like
It's the only way we can redeem this.
Literally, the novel ends after. I'm like, is this early modern England? Why are we ending this in marriage?
One of my friends got me some gay smut for Christmas, but like the whole plot of it is like two guys, they're best friends. One is gay, the other one isn't, but they've been best friends for forever. And then they go to Vegas for the bachelor party and things unfold.
Oh, yeah.
And like, I was reading and I was like, okay, obviously they're going to get together and have sex, and they do.
Right.
But like, you know, this guy's engaged to a straight woman who's like, just make sure you come home to me after this trip, okay?
Oh my gosh.
And then there's a car accident.
There's a car accident. Wait, who's in the car accident?
The straight guy, like after he has sex with his gay best friend. It's so unhinged. And like, I was reading it and I was like, why would my friend give me this book that's about like monogamous, like questioning, like it's very much gay porn for straight people, but then the car accident happens and I'm like, and I'm back in. How are they going to resolve his amnesia?
Oh no, he forgets.
I won't give it away.
Straight.
No.
Okay.
He forgets that they hooked up.
Oh my God, of
but
he
like
does.
knows in his heart something's different.
Oh my God. I have to read this. I have to read
I
this.
finished it. I'll let you borrow
Please.
it next time we
oh
cross
my God.
paths.
Yes. Okay.
Wait, so now we have to circle all the way back to what is your bedtime routine?
Oh, my bedtime routine.
Mine
okay.
is just get high and watch
Um,
Sex in the City in bed.
I respect that. Sorry, I'm adjusting a little bit.
Please do. That's all I do.
Okay. Dude,
That's the thing. I don't have a routine. That's probably why I don't sleep very well. But the only things I consistently
Oh.
do are like probably smoke weed and probably watch TV before I go to
Yeah.
bed.
Okay. No, I sleep really well. I don't think it's because of anything I do for myself. I think that's just what my body is like. But
That's nice.
God, I always read before bed.
That's a smart thing
which
to do,
is,
I think.
feel like I'm coming across as such a nerd. I am, in fact, a PhD student in English, so I
So
read
you're a nerd.
all day long. And then I'm like, you know what would be nice at the end of this long day? Cracking a book.
A book.
And then I crack a book. So my bedside table is stacked
How many
with
books deep?
Oh my God, at least 7.
Okay.
Literally 7. I have 3 in my bag right now. I was like, what if I needed something to do on the train?
So when you have 3 to 7 books lined up,
Yeah.
are you finishing one in one go and moving on to the next one? Or are you like kind of dipping your toe in multiple books at once?
I'm polyamorous with my books.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
alright.
ethically non-monogamous.
All
I
right.
actually told a girl that one time, and she was like, I'm monogamous. You know, and like she meant it as, I think she didn't think that meant great things for our relationship.
Well,
Yeah. I
I-
was like, well, yeah, you should probably leave.
you should
then.
probably run.
You should probably go.
Some of the, some monogamous people really try. And I love them for it. I love them all very much for it, those who try.
It breaks my heart when they're like, if you just liked me enough, it
Hmm.
would be only, and I'm like, that's not
It's for sure
true.
not what this
That's
is about.
Not true. It's not about you. It's about the books.
It's about society.
It's about, yeah,
That's what I
so-
always boil it back to. I'm like, you're just conditioned by society to think that. How can you not see?
Yeah, and the society and the L word. It'll happen. It'll happen to you.
Well,
But
that's what you need. You need a new bedtime routine. You need to watch an episode of Sex in the City and then an episode of The L Word.
Then
and
I
then compare and
rage for an
contrast how
hour.
bad they are.
I love that. No,
Yeah.
I do like to. Sorry, I like to hate watch things. I'm
Yeah,
into
no, they're
that,
both
so I
really
would-
good
yeah.
for hate watching.
Okay,
I just
okay.
love like the early 2000s time capsule where we were like, oh, the internet, we're so ahead, we're so edgy. It's Y2K, baby. And then watching it, and it's like, that was 25 years ago. That was a really long time ago.
25. Yeah.
25 years
That is actually how old I am.
Are you 25?
I'm 25.
Oh my goodness. You were born in the year 2000?
1999
Oh, okay.
December.
You made the cut. You made the cut.
Just barely. No, just barely.
I mean, you made it though.
I was going to ask you to guess my star sign. I kind of gave it away by saying December.
Yeah. So
Are you not that kind of queer? Are you that kind
No,
of
no,
queer?
no. But I'm
Alright.
trying to do
Mhm.
my
Yeah.
Capricorn then,
No.
or early Sagittarius.
Yeah,
I was gonna say you didn't strike me as a Capricorn, but
No, I'm a Sag. Yeah.
yes.
What
What's,
are,
what's
oh,
your
wait,
rising? What's your
are you a
big three?
Taurus?
What's your big three?
Okay. I think it's Sagittarius. Now I'm losing it. There's definitely Pisces.
Okay. Got a lot of
Something
feelings.
else. Libra, I think maybe.
And a people
yeah,
pleaser.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
got feelings, people pleaser, and love adventure. I
Yeah,
guess.
that's a good
And
combination.
that just means ethical non-monogamy
Yeah.
in my head. That So
Well, I'm a Taurus Sun, Virgo rising, Gemini moon.
fascinating.
So I think when people see like Taurus Virgo, they're like, stable, secure, sure of themselves. And I'm like, oh, I have a Gemini moon. And they're like, I gotta go. And then the rest of my chart is all like Gemini and Capricorn. So that's why I'm always staying toxic. You know what I mean?
Staying
Some of
toxic.
the most hated signs.
I
But
feel like you should show the cameras your socks. Can you pop a foot up on the desk?
free foot content. Listen, I'll
No.
let's see.
Yeah.
I'm not showing the toes. There it is.
Oh
Stay
yeah,
toxic.
and the Crocs.
From Die With You. Well,
a
the
lethal
Crocs.
combination.
Listen, the Crocs stay on because these were an emotional roller coaster to acquire.
Really?
So I bought them originally when I was a line cook because I needed slip-resistant shoes.
Sure.
And I was like, I'm going to break the seal. I'm going to be a person who owns Crocs.
Okay.
So I got ones. They don't have holes in them so that if I spill hot things on them, they're
Hole is
unholed.
unhold Crocs.
Yeah.
Unholy Crocs.
Unholy, baby.
Yeah.
So I bought them for that job and I had them for a while. I stopped working that job. And I don't know if you know this about Crocs. You cannot leave them in your car on a hot day.
Sure.
Yeah. They shrink right up into nothing.
Wow. Into nothing.
Not into nothing,
Yeah,
but they
how
like
small
into
are
an
we talking?
unwearable
Oh,
shoe.
okay.
But what you can do, which I learned from much sad internet being like, please, I love these shoes. You can stick your Crocs in boiling water to warm them up and then like re-put them on your feet. So I wore like 10 pairs of socks to stretch them out. So then I had these weirdly like custom fitted Crocs because like they don't go back to their original like clown shoe shape. They're just like fitted to your foot.
That's so sexy.
So I wore those for, and people are like, what are these shoes you have? I'm like, oh, they're just my custom Crocs. No big deal.
That's amazing.
And then it happened to me again because I don't know how to learn a lesson sometimes. I left them in a car on a hot day and I was like, ugh. And I tried to stretch them out again, but at that point it wasn't the same. So I was like, treat yourself. Treat yourself to a new pair of Crocs. All right. You're a grown ass man. You can buy yourself a new pair of shoes.
Yeah.
They didn't make them anymore.
No.
The ones with the bananas on them, which is what I wanted.
Wait, so what are these?
These are those.
These are the custom.
Hang in there.
Okay.
Hang in there.
All
We're
right,
getting there.
all right, yeah.
So Crocs is like, we don't make them anymore.
Okay.
You can have these lightning bolt ones or these pot smoking ones. And like, people know I smoke pot. I don't need to put on my shoes. Okay. It's obvious from how I look.
It's Penrique.
Yeah. Penrique.
Obviously.
So I had to go on, I went on Amazon. They only had them in like size 13.
Okay.
I finally had to go on eBay. I got them on
vintage
eBay.
Banana Crocs.
Yes. One person had them like lightly used in my size. So
that's amazing.
And I've had them ever since, and I've never left them in the car on a hot day.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
really
you.
inspiring.
Well, and it's just the one pair. What worries me is when people have like the 17 pairs. I'm like, those will never break down in a landfill, right? Yeah, I'm like, do you wear all 17 pairs? You do? Fine. You don't? I'm like, if you're a cook, you're a nurse, you work on a boat, or you do drag. Otherwise, if you have more than one pair of Crocs, and even then, the drag people should only have 1 or 2 pairs.
I was going to say,
all right.
This is like in between. We call them sets in between sets.
Well, at the end of the night, when you're wearing like 6-inch boots all night, and to put on a Croc to drive home, it's pretty good.
Wait, what are your drag shoes?
I wear 6-inch platform boots.
Really?
Yeah, gotta be tall.
Oh, I hear that.
And I'm already like a tall drag king. Like 5'6" is pretty tall for a drag king. I feel like most drag kings are like 5'3". But I work with a lot of very tall queens, and they're all wearing platforms.
No, they are. They do.
I got my and I know how to walk in a 6-inch like dancer heel. So I was like, well, I can do this in boots.
Nice.
And I can. And they've only broke a few times, but
Have they
haven't
broken?
broke me.
Remember that, everyone. Yeah.
Break your shoes. Don't let your shoes break you, baby.
Have they broken while you've been performing?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
I was doing a show over the summer, and while I was walking, have you ever been to the Crystal Ballroom in Somerville? Yeah. Those backstage have like a little lip that hangs over, and my foot got caught and ripped off the whole 6-inch platform of the shoe before an hour before I had to go on stage.
Wow.
And I didn't have any backup shoes. So I ran to CVS and got like Gorilla Glue and duct tape, and I put them back together.
Nice.
And it stayed together through the whole performance, but halfway through the performance, the other one broke.
No.
Yeah.
Damn.
And I've watched the video back, and you can't really tell. But in my brain of just being like, you got to be careful, dude. You have no ankle support. You might die tonight.
Yeah. Damn.
Showbiz,
very
baby.
Very felt fanatic of you.
Very felt.
That's striking me as very felt
they got to sponsor the show now.
Yeah. Take charge of your boots.
Well, now I use shoe goo. If you ever need to glue your shoes together, I highly recommend shoe goo.
Okay.
It's like you buy a tube of it.
Yeah. That's
like this big, and it fucking stays.
What do they put in there? Okay.
NASA.
Yeah.
Scientists.
I guess. Oh, you know what? I do have a pair of shoes that broke.
Shoe goo.
I got them for $10 at a Portland, Maine thrift store, and I was so proud of them.
Which one?
I can't remember. It's called like the vault, the closet, something. It's very like trans-inclusive thrift store.
We love.
I was so proud of them, and then it rained exactly once, and they were done. They were toast. So,
shoe goo, if you still got them.
I still got them.
Yeah.
Out of emotional attachment. The ex that I'll never let go of that's my. Yeah.
So what inspired you to move to Boston from Indiana?
Yeah.
Like big city dreams or something more specific? Or
definitely started as big city. I always had big city dreams. Growing up, I was like, the only thing holding me back is my state, which was not true. But I was like, I have to get out of here. I thought I wanted to be in New York, whatever. But
no offense, New York.
Yeah. Long story short, I got into a PhD program in Boston. I was like, okay, I'll just go wherever I'm accepted, wherever has the best program, and
Where'd you go?
Harvard.
You went to Harvard.
I'm still. Still at Harvard.
So you have a PhD from Harvard.
I'm still getting it.
You're getting your PhD from Harvard.
Yeah.
I dropped out of school.
Oh.
But it's cool. I think when other people go to college, it's cool. I just fucking hated it so much.
Okay. Wait, what did you hate about it?
I just hate learning in that kind of setting. Like, I'm a very tactile learner.
Yeah.
Like, I like to learn different things to do. So, like, to sit and have someone read things to me that I could just go home and learn on my own never really made sense to me.
I hear that.
And if they were like, here's what you need to learn, come back in 6 months and take a test, I probably would have done better. But it was like, no, you have to show up 3 times a week and listen to this person you don't hate, talk about things that you already understand.
Yeah.
That's not for me.
I mean, maybe the PhD would be better because it is basically like.
Well, then you have to get all those other things first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do. You admittedly do.
They don't let you just get the PhD.
No. I mean, you could try. No. Well, you
well,
could try.
Once you get your PhD, you can sneak me
honorary doctorate you.
Yeah.
I could just give you a list of things to do. Does that sound enticing?
No. I'm busy.
Yeah. You know what? I've been having a real craving, maybe because of the PhD, to like work on a farm or something. Like, I legitimately started looking at farms.
I love school so much I want to do the exact opposite.
Yeah. This summer, maybe I'll work on a farm.
What kind of farm? Like vegetables or animals?
For sure, yeah. I'm vegan, so
there you go.
It'd get kind of scary if I was forced to slaughter something.
It could be a non-slaughtering animal farm.
Yeah.
Like a rescue
Animal farm.
Yeah.
I love this. I'll look into it. Yeah. But no, I discovered this
go pet some pigs.
This lesbian-owned fruit orchard in New Jersey. I was like, I have to and they serve vegetarian meals for you.
So fruity.
You get room and board, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And you can things with them and you pick cherries, and I don't know, it sounds mystical. It sounds great, so I'll probably do it.
You should.
I'm gonna try to do it, yeah.
It's like a celebratory, like, I have my PhD, now time to go can with some lesbians.
Never read again.
Never read a single book for the rest of my life.
I'm reading the landscapes of New Jersey, the rolling hills.
I'm reading life, baby. Life's coming at me on the page. And I'm just trying to get to the next chapter.
Yeah, that's inspiring.
That's crazy. I don't think I know anyone who has a PhD or is getting a PhD. So, I
wish I could tell you anything useful.
No, I don't. It wouldn't be useful to me, I don't think.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
No, I was blessed with like a really high reading comprehension from a really young age, but I think that's what made me hate school so much, because I wasn't good enough at all the other things to like push me ahead into a grade. Like, I wasn't that good at math. So they were like, you can read at a 12th grade level as a 3rd grader, but you can't do 12th grade math. So like, enjoy reading these books that you read 6 years ago.
Interesting. They still made you do all the same shit.
Yeah.
Even in English. Interesting. That's disappointing. I feel like they should have given you interesting stuff.
Well, public schools. And I love public schools. Keep funding them. But, if you don't keep funding them, then teachers aren't going to be able to be like, hey, this kid needs to read a different book. Because they can't afford it.
Yeah.
They can't afford to get a different book.
Yeah.
But like, my siblings were both older than me. Like, my sister's a grade ahead of me and my brother was 3 grades ahead of me. So I would just read their books.
Oh, nice.
But then 3 years later, they'd be like, okay, time to read this book. And I'm like, cool, I have nothing to do for the next 4 months in class because I already know it. Yeah,
again?
Things like that. Sudoku and the 1,000 paper cranes again.
What was your favorite book as a kid?
Oh, God. I don't think I had a favorite book. I just I still have a lot of books from my childhood that I read, but I was reading like way too adult books as a kid. I read a lot of like World War II stuff as like a young child, where it's like, what?
I can't do war stuff. I can't do war movies.
Ugh.
I refuse to watch it.
It's a really, if you ever do drink,
yeah.
Do you ever get hungover?
No.
Well, that's a great time to
never
throw
drink
on the
that
World War
much.
II stuff for a little bit of perspective.
Are you kidding?
No.
Oh for perspective, that's
yeah,
amazing.
like if you're on the couch and you're like, I feel terrible, and then you're watching like The Pacific, and you're like, I guess things could be worse.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, yeah. There's a joke somewhere with Saving Private Ryan, saving Pinot Grigio. Okay.
Yeah,
It's
you
over.
work on it.
It's over.
That's not
It's
my
over.
field. That can be your next bit.
I feel like there's a lot of overlap between drag and stand-up, though.
The few times in my life where people are like, oh, you're funny on a mic, and I'm like, but it's because there's no stakes involved for people to laugh at what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I just need to move the show forward. And if I say something that I think is funny and no one reacts to it, I can be like, well, I'm just going to take my shirt off and do a number now. That's fine.
Oh, I thought you meant right now. I was like, I guess so.
Here at Peabody TV. No, there is one there's an unaired episode of this
Oh my
podcast
God.
that was too spicy.
Oh
for
my
Peabody
God.
TV.
That's my new ambition for this episode is to make it the spiciest
Well,
one
no, I
yet.
think the first half of the episode, and I will have that guest back someday. We have talked about it because like the first half of it, we're just having technical difficulties.
Okay.
And then by the time we had settled the technical difficulties and got into the rest of the episode, it just got so off the rails.
Yeah, it was loony. Yeah.
And Randall, my wonderful producer, was like, hey, so a couple things. Half of it we can't use, and the other half we also can't use for different reasons.
Wait, are there things I'm not supposed to say or not allowed to say on
No.
here? Okay. There are no content guidelines.
No,
Okay.
when I first started doing it, I was like, can we swear? And we can swear.
Great.
But, you know.
Because that's who I am.
Well, and that's I'm like, what should if I talk about the things we can't talk about, then we won't be able to air it. No, there's very few things that are off limits, but that one, it just got very spicy.
I hear that.
So it's someone I used to like teach pole with, so we have a lot of stories.
Okay. I hear that. You've done a lot of different performing arts.
Gemini moon, I gotta find, and that's why I like learning with my hands. Like when I was in high school, I had met all the requirements to go to like a state school by the time I was a junior.
Nice.
And so they were like, well, you can take all these extra like study periods and extra gym and extra art. So I just learned cosmetology instead.
Okay. Oh, shit.
Because we had a like vocational department in our high school, and everyone was like, why did you take that? I was like, because I didn't want to take 3 extra arts I don't care about. Like, I'd rather do something.
How ironic that you're now an artist in a way.
Well, I guess. I mean, I was very much a theater kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Can you not?
No, I guess I can tell. But I like everyone.
I guess I'm flattered when someone's like, I guess.
No, I mean, what do I associate with theater kids?
Singing in public as a
Yeah,
group.
a very kind of.
I don't do that.
They're less punk. They're less punk.
They're a little less punk.
They don't have banana Crocs.
They don't have. Well, they might.
And
But
they
they have
wish
the
they did.
holes in them.
They have
you know?
they have holy Crocs.
They have holy Crocs.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of were you a nerd in school? I mean, you're getting a PhD from Harvard, so I imagine you were probably a bit of a nerd.
Yeah, I was a nerd. I was a nerd. I
What
was
kind of nerd?
like art and poetry nerd. I would
Okay.
say. Like I had a
Wore a lot of
Tumblr.
turtlenecks.
No, I didn't
No?
wear turtleneck. I wore Urban Outfitters.
Oh, a
Yes.
trendy nerd.
I suppose so. But yeah, I had a Tumblr. Tumblr was where all the social
Love
stuff
Tumblr.
happened for me. My high school itself was not where the social stuff happened.
Yeah.
I had friends, but it was like small, intense female friendships
Yeah.
that were actually queer.
Clove cigarettes.
No.
No. Do the kids still smoke those? I don't know.
know.
They shouldn't. Don't smoke, especially cloves.
Okay, what's wrong with cloves?
It's it's somewhere between like a cigarette and a cigar. I think there's like a bunch of extra gross shit in it, and like the paper's black, and like I think it has literal cloves in there and other things. But it smells like dirty goth hippies.
Okay,
You know,
I
or
hear that. Yeah.
they're black cigarettes, and when you smoke it, they like crackle, so you can hear like the cancer going straight into your lungs. It's
Everything you've said thus
wonderful.
far sounds appealing.
Listen, if you're like a poetry nerd, that's on. Listen, you should have
Right.
been smoking cloves.
But sometimes I'm like,
They might not even make them anymore. You probably can't get them in
Yeah, I mean,
Massachusetts. You'd have
I
to go to
think
New Hampshire.
I would be equally happy just smelling some clove in a spice jar.
Like you could
that sounds
probably
great.
load up a cinnamon stick with
God.
tobacco and smoke that. It's probably better for you. Don't do that.
Innovate.
either.
Okay.
No, to them, you do what you want.
Thanks,
for
thanks.
the kids
It's
who
for
might
my
be
praxis.
watching. Yeah.
It's important.
It's important to grow as an artist.
To grow as an artist.
So you're a poetry nerd.
Yeah, I was a poetry nerd.
Yeah.
I wrote poetry. I was big into like collaging. I still collage. Had an art journal, what have you. I did have, okay, this is like incredibly embarrassing. I
Here
had
we
this
go.
one post that got really famous, like really famous.
On Tumblr, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there was a grammatical mistake in it. And it really, every time I see
Is
it
that
now,
why it got famous?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all those grammar Nazis. making it blow
Listen,
up.
they're out there.
No, yeah, no, it was okay. It was in the time I was in a long distance relationship. It was very volatile, and I wrote this
As
was
they are.
straight from the heart. I was like, 2 thoughts equally as terrifying. What if I see you again? What if I don't? And it blew up. And equally as terrifying is not correct. It would be equally as terrifying as one another, or equally terrifying.
Ugh.
And I just,
Ugh.
it just,
But like, I didn't know that till you said, like, it still sounds, it's poetry. Grammar is literally just a set of rules made up by some guy.
Yeah, no,
some guy was like, this is how I think English should be.
Yeah.
You know, there wasn't a committee. There was some guy.
Yeah. No, there were waves of guys.
Yeah. Well, someone would release a book and then someone would be like, well, I think this, you know, it's just someone's arbitrary opinion.
Yeah. Okay. I'll make my new grammar rules. Although I feel like that
do whatever you want.
It just sounds awkward, equally as terrifying.
But it sounds colloquial because that's how
Okay.
you would that's how
Yeah.
you heard it in your
Equally as
head.
terrifying. I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
For defending
Of
me.
course.
Damn.
I've had to like unlearn a lot of grammar stuff as a kid who had a
really?
really high grade like reading level, and then
Right.
as an adult being like, you know, well, that's not how you're supposed to pronounce this, or that's how not how you say it. And it's like, that's actually a really fucking classist stance to have on a language.
Yeah.
So I've had to unlearn a lot of that. But yeah, grammar is just literally some guy was like, well, this is how I think English should sound. Like, okay, great.
Okay.
Or like, what's the like Robert's Rules of Order? Like the way have you, do you know?
No, I know. What do I know? There was actually this book that was kind of trendy in literary circles a few years ago called like, is one of those new grammar and style guides.
Ugh.
I've lost it. But people were like, it's a fun read.
Is it?
It's not.
How
It's not a
could
fun.
it
It's just a
possibly
grammar.
be?
Like he's a little bit snarky, and that's it.
Great.
It was like Penn's English or something.
Oh my God.
Penrique's English.
Yeah, there's this book that was written probably in the 1800s of like Robert's Rules of Order that people use to this day.
Really?
And it's like for like parliamentary procedure kind of, it's like how to hold a meeting. So like when people, you have to like form a quorum and like have a motion and someone has to second the motion, all those kind of bullshit rules. Is this one guy who just went to like a town meeting that was so bad that he spent a decade writing this book to be like, this is how meetings should be run. And I think the original one is like less than 200 pages long, but they've been rewriting it for so long. Like the most recent version, because they still release it.
Yeah.
It's like 800 pages long.
Okay, I was in Model UN in high school.
But it's just some guy being like, this is how I think meetings should be run. And to this day, it's like, that's how meetings are run. Because people are like, this is the book. And I was like, some guy just happened to have the free time to write it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things were just some guy. Sometimes they were good ideas. Sometimes they were bad. But like, no, all of those feel so arbitrary. But it's like people crave order so much that anyone coming up with they're like, okay,
they're like, oh, something for us to follow.
Sure, yeah.
I think the Bible got something there, you know? People are like, I guess if they wrote it down, it must be true.
Yeah.
It's
just
like
convenient.
when you see things on the internet, it's got to be true.
We're lazy.
We're lazy.
We're doing we're trying.
Ugh, we're doing our best. But yeah, that's when it comes to grammar or things like that. I'm like, just remember, it's just some man.
Oh, Robert.
Some man who had too many opinions. Would you listen to some man who came out with a book today? No.
I never read books by men. That's my stance.
Do you not?
No, I do.
I'm like, it must be hard to get a PhD that way.
Yeah, you're right.
Do you hate straight comedians as much as I do?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they're really boring. They all talk about the same stuff. I mean, sometimes gay comedians, we hit our beats. You know,
yeah.
we have
I'm not saying all gay comedians are good.
Are innovating. No,
ugh.
but the straights, oh my God. It's like my girlfriend wants me to propose to her. And I don't want to. Yeah, exactly. Or it's like, my wife is way cooler than me. And I like those slightly more.
Yeah.
But they're not great anyway. And then it's like, I hate my job. And it's just so boring. I'm like, you guys.
Well, I remember, because a lot of what you see on TV are straight comedians. And thankfully, by the time they've made it to TV for the most part, some of them are pretty funny, which is fine. But I remember I did a show, like I did a comedy show, and I was there like as the musical guest.
Nice. Yeah.
Which is sad. It never got released. Another corrupted file.
No.
That's probably for the best.
So much
but
of
I
your
just remember
archive.
being backstage, and it was primarily straight comedians. And I just remember thinking, I'm never fucking doing a comedy show ever again. The vibes back here are terrible. It was like every kind of stereotype. We're like, the one guy whose whole personality is that he chain smokes and has a flask and a pea coat. And like, yeah, you know that guy. You've seen him. And just everybody, and like even, I love women, but straight women, for the love of God, there's like the stereotypical, like the most kind of pick me and being like, I'm just going to talk about my vagina all the time just to shock you guys. And then like the antithesis of her is like the other kind of pick me girl, which is like, she's really lame, but I would never do that. So I'm going to do the same exact thing differently so that you know I'm actually the cool woman here. And I was just sitting there like, I need to get the fuck out of here. Found like the two queerish comedians to be like, you guys are cool, right? But they're still trying to be like, well, we have to fit in with the straight people.
No.
And then finally I went to like an ACLU fundraiser comedy show, and it was all queer comedians. And I was like, oh, I don't hate comedy. I hate straight people.
God.
Like, phew.
Queer audiences are better too.
Yeah.
You know, like a straight audience, they're just on their little date night, and I'm like,
well, and that's everyone wants to be heckled now. I feel like heckle culture has like taken out like the audience crowd work. Like everything you see on Instagram is someone being like, hey, I'm a comedian. What do you do there? Tell me about your shirt. Now this whole bit is just me having a 45-minute conversation with these two people in the front. Some people do it really well.
Yeah.
Most people don't.
No, I think it's unfortunately a result of like Instagram reels and people wanting to be seen, and it's like you feel like you can get some kind of original experience, but
no. I think that happens at any entertainment show. There's always the kind of people who are like, how can I make this about me? And like, instead of becoming an artist and like pursuing that path, it's how can I ruin this show and be the center of attention? Like you see it at comedy shows, you see it at drag shows, you see it at like strip clubs. Like there's always someone who's like, I want to be on the stage, but I don't want to do the work.
Yeah.
So let me ruin everyone's good time.
Kind of my origin story.
Yeah.
Although I never heckled. It was just silently in my head.
Well, that's if you go to shows and become inspired, like that's different than just being like, I'm going to heckle you. I have nothing to say, but I want to be in charge.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting.
Actually, my note just says straight comedians, ew.
Oh, nice.
That's how I take notes on
What
my
is
gay
that?
agenda.
I
Shout
like
out to
this
gay agenda. Yes.
Nice.
There's
Very inspiring.
and she can probably use this on another mix. One of the guests who's been on the show is drag queen Gay Agenda.
Oh, nice.
And she's recently made a mix of me, because I've talked about her on the podcast, and then I had her on the podcast. So she has a mix now that she performs that has clips of me talking about her on the podcast.
That's amazing.
So now she has another clip to use.
Oh my God.
Gay Agenda. I love you.
I love that you guys make mixes. I want to make a mix.
I'm not very good at it. I have a few.
Together.
Oh, I can show you the programming. It's much.
Please.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then our final things for today, a little cope and a little hope. We're living in a very dark timeline. And I don't like to give space to the negative things because the news is doing that enough. So what are things that you do to help you cope, that bring you joy, that bring you a little hope, if anything? And if not, we'll just cut this out.
No, there's a lot. There's a lot. Okay. I feel like I have very actionable advice because I have had like the worst winter ever. I've had like daily panic attacks, like depression, and I've had to get rigorous about my self-care. So, okay, some things that are good. Making a bunch of pancakes, freezing them. So whenever you want, you can have pancakes for breakfast. You can just pop some out, put them in the microwave. I did that this morning. I was like, I accidentally had the best morning ever.
That's one of the fucking smartest things I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah.
And how does it not occur?
It's so easy.
They sell frozen pancakes.
Yeah. Pancakes help so much. What else? Niche musical genres. Bluegrass has been my thing recently. Lesbian bluegrass especially.
Have you heard of the Taint Sisters?
No.
Check them out.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I can recommend Bella White, and I just on the train I was listening to, I think they're called The Honeys or something. The Honeys. Okay. Dancing, so good. I started queer line dancing. Amazing.
Where do they do that?
Around Boston, there are two organizations.
Oh, is it like Loretta's? That's like the Boston,
that's
like
the
country
straight line dancing.
Never mind, forget it.
I've heard terrible
Cut it.
slandering. No, there's two great organizations, Gays for Patsy and 617 Country in Boston, and they do specifically queer line dancing. It's amazing.
As a white person, I'm great at line dancing. You know, it's in the blood.
It's kind of in our bones.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. Yeah.
We need specific instructions on which direction to move.
For real. No, I love being told what to do. In a time like this. In times like these. Okay, connecting with older gays on that note.
Yes.
I just started volunteering at this lesbian archive. I was like, all of these women rock. They were like, yeah, this is a t-shirt I was wearing when I marched on Washington and people throw fruit at me, or they threw fruit at me. I'm like, who are you? You're amazing.
We need more of those stories. Yeah.
And I'm like, I haven't felt like tethered to community in a while, or like tethered to history. And that makes me feel, it's like, it's spiritual, and I lack other forms of spirituality. So that's nice.
Well, that's something we've definitely talked about on this podcast before of like, you know, I'm in my 30s and people consider me like a queer elder because it's just like people don't know we do have elders because a lot of people came out much later in life or had to hide themselves for a lot of their life or just their stories aren't told in history.
Yeah.
But like there's people even older than me out there who are gay, so you can find them.
Confirmed that. Yeah. Oh, relatedly, you might like this too. There is a newsletter that just started running called Lesbian Boston.
Okay.
And they collect like interviews with queer organizations, all the queer events happening in the city that month. Like it's amazing. And then just like recommendations. There's a little sapphic advice column. It's so cute. And it just makes my month every time I open it. See, it's in my inbox. It's great.
Nice.
So yeah, on that note, email newsletters in
Love
general.
that.
Yeah.
All right.
Those are some things.
Hell yeah. And do you have anything, this will be coming out in March. Do you have any shows on the horizon for the spring or anything you want to plug going on?
Yeah, I will
More mattress
be
stores?
at the Boston Comedy Festival.
Ooh,
which is exciting.
that is exciting.
Yes, I think like April 2nd is my first round.
Hell yeah.
So at the Rockwell, please come to that.
Love the Rockwell.
Also at the Rockwell, Men in Comedy is doing our annual Men's History Month show in March.
I love that.
I don't know if we've settled on a date yet, but I could text you once we have it. And can you put it kind of
I'll
over?
post it.
Yes.
I'll
great.
post about it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. So those are the two things.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast
Thank
again
you.
and fighting through your concussion. And I hope we can get you home and rested and all that jazz.
Yeah.
And to the people out there watching, listening, be good. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Don't give in to fear and don't obey in advance. And until next time, be gay, do crime.
Smoke clove cigarettes.
And don't smoke clove cigarettes.
Can I play them out?
Play us a little outro. It sounds so good through the headphones. And that's it. Have a good night, everybody.